West Ham this season are absolutely flying with 7 points from 3 games, a 3-1 win over Chelsea, a 3-1 win over Brighton, and obviously the point against Bournemouth, and it is all down to big man David Moyes. Today we're going to go over 2, if not 3, of his tactics he uses with this West Ham team. Let's get into it and waste no more time and learn about how he plays his football. So, the starman David Moyes then. At times the Hammers have the option to choose a more defensively focused 5-4-1 or 3-4-2-1 formation. However, the distinctive feature characterising David Moyes' tenure at West Ham has predominantly centred around a structured 4-2-3-1 system. When in defensive mode, the formation frequently shifts, evolving into a 4-4-2 or 4-4-1-1 setup, which we are going to be covering both of those today. This transformation occurs as the attacking midfield collaborates with Antonio, jointly exerting high-pressure tactics on the field, and indeed, West Ham's pressing game surpasses common perceptions. In offensive manoeuvres, it's unsurprising that the fullbacks take turns advancing one by one to augment the attacking front. This strategic movement leads the inverted wingers to migrate inward, conjuring creative brilliance in closer proximity to the goal. Attacker-wise, we've got to consider David Moyes' teams from an offensive standpoint. It's hard not to immediately visualise 2 distinct aspects: their dynamic strategy in counter-attacks and their remarkable aerial dominance during set-piece situations. Obviously, they get a lot of goals from this area. While West Ham can exhibit a graceful sense of possession, especially when players like Paqueta, Aaron Cresswell and Jarrod Bowen take charge, Moyes' squad generally embraces a straightforward approach. This approach revolves around seeking out their striker, utilising his exceptional ability to maintain possession, and subsequently involving teammates in closer proximity to the goal. In the context of counter-attacks, this strategy becomes particularly effective. Antonio adeptly positions himself towards the direction of the ball, receiving it and drawing defenders with him. His skill in holding the ball allows others to swiftly sprint into the vacant spaces, creating lots of opportunities. This strategic manoeuvre enables West Ham to swiftly transition that defensive area to attack, capitalising on Antonio's pivotal role in the process. In terms of defence, West Ham exhibit a determined defensive structure, employing a mid to high block and a 4-4-2 formation. This setup can seamlessly transform into a 4-2-3-1 alignment, so these again link up really well. It is a really good way to switch between formations with relative ease. Their pressing tactics can occasionally take on a 4-2-4 appearance, resulting in gaps between the initial high pressing forward line, the midfield duo and the back four. Within this tactical framework, the team's wingers are tasked with pressuring the opposition centre-backs. Their position not only disrupts the opposing fullbacks, but also screens them through their body orientation. And we actually tested with West Ham in this testing phase, and we managed to finish 3rd place in the Premier League, win the Europa League, also in the Carabao Cup, making it a double winning season. Quite important trophies as well there. Danny Ings with 29 league goals, and big man Ward-Prowse coming in with 13 assists. We scored 2.47 goals a game, conceded just over 1 goal a game, a pass completion of 77%, close to 20 shots a game, so typically playing like West Ham, decent amount of goals per game, just over that 1 goal conceded, but to be honest, you can concede less than that, obviously if you are playing as a slightly better team, but it just goes to show how well this works with West Ham. Also hopped over to Sunderland, obviously one of his former teams, and we absolutely smashed that division, the Sky Bet Championship. 119 goals scored, only 37 conceded. Not the best in the actual English Cups, but considering, you know, we're not exactly the favourites to win this, it's an incredible overachieving season, where we scored 2.59 goals per game, so quite similar there. We conceded a little bit less than what we did with West Ham, an easier division, way under a goal a game now at 0.8, over 22 shots a game, and a pass completion of 76%. So went over to one of his former teams, Manchester United, where we won the Premier League, only losing 3 games and drawing the 1, where Marcus Rashford comes in with 36 league goals, and Anthony picking up 21 assists, where we scored 3.66 goals a game, conceded at 0.61, over 24, nearly 25 shots a game, and a pass completion of 78%. This just shows you what you can expect to get if you're playing with an elite team. Talked about how he plays, we've gone over the results, let's go over the tactic. It is going to be the famous Hammers is going to be the name. I hope a lot of West Ham fans do find this video because I respect the way you're playing this season. We're going to kick things off with the player roles to get things going. It's going to be a goalkeeper on defend on the default instructions. We're going to have a fullback on the right, on support, on dribble more, run wide with the ball, and also close down more. A nice aggressive fullback in that area. A central defender on the right, on defend, to partner him exactly the same on the left-hand side and centre-back. So to be clear, 2 centralised defenders. The left-back is going to be a fullback on support, On cross from byline, stay wider and close down more. A very solid and also quite attacking back four with those fullbacks in place. But honestly, defensively, this is as solid as you're going to get. Moving forward, you know you're going to have I can't even talk. You know you're going to have a box-to-box in midfield. That is going to be a box-to-box on support, simply on the default instructions. Nothing special, nothing is really needed that stands out in this role. Just someone that is going to roam about, get forwards, get back, and just help link up the whole team, really. Next to him, it's going to be a central midfield player on support, move into channels, close down more, and also tackle harder. Now, with this role here, you can experiment with it. You could possibly have a deep line playmaker. You possibly could even argue they have two box-to-boxes. But a central midfielder, for me, perfectly describes what I'm looking for in big Lucas Paqueta. And he plays such a good role, man, in this team. One of the best midfield players in the world, in my opinion. Absolute joy watching him every single time. On the left-hand side, we've got an inside forward on support, on cross-aim centre, and also sit narrower. Very important these wingers are going to sit narrower, because both of these fullbacks are going to get further forwards, and when they do, I do not want any collisions when that is taking place. In the middle, an attacker midfield player on roam from position, and also move into channels. And on the right-hand side, we're going to have an inside forward with a little bit more of a custom instruction, cross-aim centre, shoot more often, sit narrower, and close down more. Now, the reason why we've got shoot more often is because traditionally, this is where Jarrod Bowen does play, and he has got one hell of a crack on him. So that is why I want him shooting more often. He does it in real life. He cuts in. He has a pop at goal. In your save, if your player hasn't got good finishing, or say your left-hand side of player's got better finishing, obviously, that is down to you guys to sort of tweak it to your needs. But this is a really well-balanced way of having one really supportive winger and one winger that is still supportive, but is also going to look to cut in and have a crack at goal. And to finish it off, we talked about how important the pressing is in this team. A pressing forward on attack, simply on the default instructions. In terms of the team instructions, we're going to be on attack, and by the way, when it comes to mentality, fairly wide on the attack and width. Overlap left, overlap right are going to be required. Slightly more direct because, as we are aware, that is the Moyes way. A higher tempo, so again, this tactic isn't going to be too extreme on your players. That is why we've got a lot of close down more on certain player roles. It's not needed to be maxed out on the tempo to still have that aggressive style that we see typically from the four players in this West Ham team. We're going to have floated crosses in the final third, hit early crosses into the centre of the box, and we're also going to have run at defence. And playing like this, guys, we had some really impressive performances, including a 5-0 win against Newcastle in the Premier League, as we take a very comfortable lead there inside of 20 minutes. Great bit of play through to Danny Ings. Ward-Prowse on the edge now. He's going to cut it out to the right-hand side, drive it back inside, gets a little bit lucky there. Zuma plays it back into Jarrod Bowen. Again, a little bit of luck with a deflection there, but we're going to take it. A very comfortable lead so far. Danny Ings spreads the wide out play now into Johnson, into Ben Rama. He's going to cut in. Little bit lucky again with the deflection, but we're going to take it. This Newcastle team are literally breaking ahead of us. And the funny thing is, we had less possession in this game. You don't always need possession to win games, as Bowen's going to touch it down, drives it across into Danny Ings, and these two were on fire the entire season. A great partnership, a great thing to watch, and this man as well, Ward-Prowse, his element is playing direct passes, and an even better finish from Ben Rama. When it comes to in transition, we're going to have a regroup, counter, obviously a key part of this West Ham team, and we've not actually selected anywhere to distribute the ball to, but we are going to be taking short goal kicks. In terms of out of possession, we're going to have the standard defensive line, the high pressing line of engagement, and more often, not too much selected in these team instructions in terms of the out of possession tab, but that's because there's no need. So as always, there are going to be 3 variants today. We're going to go over a 4-1-4-1 attacking variant and a 4-4-2 defensive variant. I want to quickly thank all of the wonderful names coming down the screen right now. These are going to be new or existing Patreon members. Patreon is a great way to give you guys some extra cool perks, including access to all 3 of these wonderful tactical files. You get early video and tactic release, which is a big plus. You also get priority in your tactic and rebuild requests, one-on-one tactical help, and also access to the exclusive giveaways, which is definitely going to include 2 to 3 copies of FM24. So check it out, guys. The link is going to be in the description. But let's go ahead and talk about some more tactics. So this is going to be the 4-1-4-1. As discussed in the intro of the video, this is a very more attack and based tactic West Ham did actually play. I believe it was against Chelsea or Brighton. It was one of the two they deployed it against, and it is very attacking, so that is why I've got it under the attacking variant in this video, because to me, look how attacking this is. But to get things going, it is going to be a goalkeeper on defend, a fullback on support, on dribble more, run wide, and also close down more. 2 central defenders are going to be exactly on the default defend instructions. A fullback on the left is going to be on support, on cross from the byline, stay wider, and also close down more. Now, this role here could actually be a central midfield play, but because it's FM, you can't always replicate a tactic 100% of the time. We've gone with a defensive midfield player on defend, on tackle harder. And that's simply because we want someone to protect this back four. We don't really want anybody else going too further forwards and getting involved, because we've got this front five almost, which we're going to get into right now. The inside forward on the left is going to be on attack, on cross, aim centre, and also sit narrower. And on the right, it's going to be an inside forward on attack, on cross, aim centre, shoot more often, sit narrower, and close down more. So you're probably noticing a few of the player roles are exactly the same, and that's very important because we want the system to play as similar as the default one does, just with a little bit more of an attacking influence, if that makes sense. An attacking midfield player comes in on the right, on support, on dribble more, and also move into channels. And next to him, an advanced playmaker comes in on support, on roam from position, and also move into channels. I did try have these on attack, way too attacking, let me tell you that. And to finish it off, a pressing forward on attack. In terms of the team instructions, the mentality is going to remain on attacking. Fairly wide is also going to remain. We're going to have overlap left, overlap right on, slightly more direct, a higher tempo, work ball into the box, and in fact, it is literally exactly the same. So I'm just going to keep it to what it is, because at the end of the day, it's already a very attacking way of playing football. Now, the reason I'm talking about this is because you can have be more expressive on, you could also have pass into space on, but I would honestly recommend sticking to what you see on the screen, because it's already going to be very attacking just off the player roles alone. Transition, the couple of real big changes are going to be distributing quickly, and we're also going to distribute to the centre-backs, taking short goal kicks, because now I want to guarantee we're going to be receiving the ball so we can get an attack going ASAP. I don't really want to take any risk of a ball not being touched down, so playing it to the centre-backs is always quite a safe option, which then they can go long or play it to the DM in this area here, and then feed it to any one of these forward-running front four. And in terms of out of possession, we're going to remain with the standard line, the high pressing line of engagement, much more often, and also get stuck in. The higher line is a bit overkill, guys, to be honest with you, with this 4-1-4-1. It simply doesn't work, in my opinion. Now, if you are desperate, and I'm talking 2 to 3 minutes left desperate to get a goal, you can deploy it, but you are going to be very vulnerable at the back. And now going over the 4-4-2, which was discussed in the intro of the video as well, the defensive variant to this West Ham formation, and as you can imagine, it's going to look quite negative. Starting it off, it's going to be a goalkeeper on defend, on the default instructions, a fullback on the right, on support, on run wide, and close down more. 2 centralised defenders, both on the default instructions, so it is going to be quite a defensive back four in this scenario, and a fullback on the left simply on support, on stay wider, and close down more. So quite a defensive back four, and it gets even a bit more defensive going forward as well, as we have a winger now on support, on cross, aim centre, and also mark tighter, and that's exactly the same for the right hand side. And the beautiful thing about these wingers is they are essentially also going to act as a double layer of fullbacks. This four here can also defend as a back four, so in some scenarios when the back's against the wall, you can almost be defending with a back 8, which is absolutely impossible to break down. It's incredible. And you've also got these two up front to obviously go long and basically counter-attack with, so it works really, really well. The central midfield player is going to be on defend, on tackle harder, and the box-to-box is simply going to be on the default. Very important you have a box-to-box in this team, because obviously we don't have the most attacking formation now, so just having that one extra player that is going to do a little bit of both is absolutely crucial. Going forwards, a pressing forward on support, on the default instructions, and a pressing forward on attack, I keep saying on attack, on the default instructions. Again, these two are going to be applying constant pressure to the opposition, and it catches them off guard. It really does catch them off guard, because when we're defending so well in this sort of mid-block sort of style, when eventually we're putting pressure on them, They completely switch off. We win the ball back very often. We can go long with the passes as well. And you can still pick up the odd cheeky goal here and there playing this way. In terms of the team instructions, it's now going to drop all the way down to a balanced mentality, standard with the attack and width. We're going to still overlap left and overlap right because I still want to have a little bit of a defensive sort of structure, but also a little bit of attacking going on because that back eight is good, but you want to have some outlets. So having the fullbacks overlap is very crucial indeed. Slightly more direct with the passing, still going to have the standard tempo being rocked out. Time wasting going to be set to frequently. We're going to be hitting early crosses from the left and the right while doing floated crosses, and we're now going to have play for set pieces. So as you can see, we're really going to utilise the time wasting to our advantage, and why not? You know, West Ham have got some really good players when it comes to set pieces. Obviously, Ward-Prowse is a real key player now, so also having this on is very important. We've got really tall players, aerial dominant, so when you've got a player like Ward-Prowse, you've got tall centre-halves, playing for set pieces should be a no-brainer. In transition, a couple of changes. We're going to have regroup, nothing selected when possession has been won. We're going to slow the pace down, and on this occasion, we're going to take short goal kicks to anyone across the back four, because again, it's all about minimalising, that is a word, the risk of losing the ball when you're deploying it from the back. So just keeping the ball comfortable, anyone across the back is what we're going to be going for. And out of possession, we're going to have the standard line, the mid-block as discussed, and more often on the trigger press. So it is a very sort of defensive formation. Might not look the most prettiest when you see this, or even when you see the tactics screen, but this is a formation you're going to use for defending. Let me go over this. This one is going to be the one you're going to use for attacking when you're a goal down or playing against a very poor standard team. And this is going to be the one you're going to go into the games with. And this is what I've done majority of the testing with. I did occasionally deploy the attacking and defensive one, but this is what all the testing is done with. Don't worry though. Obviously, these do get a test as well, and they do perform really well. I want to quickly say, by the way, guys, because I've not said it throughout the whole video, if you have enjoyed today's video, please do consider leaving a like on it and hitting the subscribe button and hit that wonderful little notification bell. And if you've got any issues with the tactics at all, whether that be it's not working for you, you've got a question, can you play a deep blind playmaker here, anything like that, either leave a comment below, or even better, follow me on all the social medias in the description. I'll respond to all my DMs as quickly as I can. And yeah, it's a great way to stay in contact, and I love talking to you guys. But enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one.